Diamond Dave.
Oh, yeah?
Madman Sports. Buffalo Bills 1-0. We got Zach. What's going on, man?
Not too much. You know, it's hard to get to where we are right now. 1-0 is the hardest thing to do in the NFL.
Indeed, and I'm very glad we are a part of that list.
Half the teams don't do that.
You know what?
Every year.
Half the teams don't do it. I'm just glad to be on the right side of history. Dave, what about you, man? Glad we were 1-0?
It's not easy to win this league, as the coaches always say. I'm glad we're 1-0. It was a good, complete win. There's some, obviously, I have some complaints, but it was a good win. Some injuries piled up, but a win's a win. Let's get on to Miami.
Yeah, let's get on to Miami. But first, we're going to be talking about the Jets. The Miami Dolphins will come Wednesday. But Josh Allen had a career day. 312 yards, above 70% completion percentage.
72, to be exact.
106 QBR.
Those are important.
Sure. He had 2 fumbles. Missed a wide open John Brown. Josh Allen is still a young quarterback. There was no preseason, no minicamp, and a lackluster training camp. I mean, we beat up the Jets so bad that I don't think that there's any problem in kind of considering this a preseason game. Zach, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, as I've been saying for about 2 to 3 weeks now, that I kind of always pictured this game as kind of a tune-up game for the Bills. It is their best and only dress rehearsal. It does count, but you only get one dress rehearsal in this league, and you might as well take it in this terms of the Jets. Now, was Sam Darnold better than Josh Allen? Not by a mile. But is the national media painting this crazy picture of Josh Allen right now that he's this awful quarterback? And listen, this is the part that irks me the most. That's why I'm starting off with it. They keep showing this picture of Josh Allen throwing that pass to John Brown, and as if no other quarterback in the league is making a bad pass. Like, it's preseason. You know, there was no preseason, so this is our preseason game. It's their first game. There's, you know, am I wrong in thinking that one bad pass is the end of the world for him? And yes, there was also a Dawson Knox, but this John Brown is the one that the media is taking off and running with it. After a game where he just had 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. I don't think that's the correct narrative to have. Now let me kick it off and give you a swing here. So we have Josh Allen for 3 years now. So he started the season 3 times for the Bills. In his first start, he had 246 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. That was against the Chargers in week 2. After Nathan Peterman, for lack of a better term, shit the bed against them. And then last year, he had 252, had a nice fourth quarter comeback, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. This year, a huge difference between the last 2 years. You know, middle of the pack, 200 quarterback. This year, he finally eclipsed everyone's favorite number, 300, 312, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That is a sign of growth, and that's something that I really think the Bills really need to focus on right now, because today their passing offense looked like a passing offense in the modern day NFL, and that's something you really have to focus on, because that's what matters.
And the Bills moved the ball really well. 404 total yards, 31 first downs.
And that's including loss of yards because of the quarterback kneels. So, I mean, there's something to consider there. Now, on top of that, this is a team that if they pass the ball like that and play defense like that, there's only 2 teams that they can lose to, and you know, a complete team in the Chiefs and the Ravens right there, and probably the Saints, because there's not many offenses that could keep up with a defense like that, as well as getting peppered with an offense that passes the ball that efficiently, that well. 72 completion percentage. Josh Allen looked like a complete passer for the first time in his career. It was his best NFL game to date.
I agree. It wasn't as flashy as some would say, like
300 is what
Dallas Cowboy game.
For.
But, I mean, and you talk about controlling the game as well. Basically, the Bills controlled 75% of this game. They had 41 minutes and 16 seconds of possession.
Can I do my favorite stat?
Please.
81 offensive plays. That is getting first downs, moving the ball, getting first downs, moving the ball. That is how you play football. You're not relying on your defense to constantly pick it up. Honestly, I don't know what the time possession for the Jets was off the top of the head.
18:44.
It was like the defense didn't even play today, which is really what you have to focus on, because in reverse it, The last 2 defenses of Sean McDermott have been very good. Last 3 defenses have been very good. They've been getting dogged. They played less than 20 minutes of game time today. That is what you need to focus on, because this is an offense that's moving. This is the defense that's finally getting like its relief that they've been begging for, as Micah Hyde said on Thursday. There were times where they were playing stout and couldn't get the points. Definitely. There was times last year, I think there was like 4 games last year that they would have won if they just scored 21 points. They got 27 today. We all wanted more. There were some points left on the field. But like we said, it's week 1 in a season where there was no preseason. You can't put that against them this year. Maybe, but if they're still doing that stupid stuff by week 3, then we can bully up on them. I'm all for it. Fumbles, that'll come, all of that. But week 1, you get the win. You do it convincingly without a garbage time touchdown. That's a three-score game. But, yeah, I mean, I was very thrilled with the passing attack. All facets of it was fantastic.
David?
I said the Bills played a complete game today, and they did, but the Bills also had a lot of flaws. The Bills won this game by 10 points.
10 points.
That's unacceptable for the way the Bills played today. Josh Allen played a very good game. Josh Allen also played hero ball a lot, and I know a lot of people will agree because I've listened to the GR callers. His fumbles, I fully believe if we were playing a good offense today, the Bills probably would have lost this game because Josh Allen had 2 major mistakes, probably almost 3. Josh Allen did play a very good game, though. His chemistry with Brown and Diggs right now was awesome. It was off the charts, and I can't wait to see where that goes. Diggs looked awesome in a Bills jersey, too. Jake, we talked off camera about Josh Allen running the ball, especially when we're up 21-0. That shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, these design
preseason
runs need to stop with Josh Allen. The only time I think it would be acceptable is on a 4th and short, a 3rd and short. But these options are only going to cause problems for the Bills. I mean, sure, you might get a nice chunk play, but I would much rather have a safe quarterback than him kind of sticking his head in a hole and trying to gain yards when we drafted Zach Moss and have Devin Singletary as well.
Yeah, and I really thought they learned from last year from the injuries he had and mistakes he had, and especially in the playoff game. I don't know if those were designed or if Allen chose to do that himself.
They were option plays.
He was
a lot of RPOs.
Too eager to run the ball, and he took some pretty big hits. So if we're playing against a bigger hard-nosed defense or whatever, he really needs to keep an eye on that. But like I said, his chemistry with Brown and Diggs was awesome. They looked good doing so. The run game needs to improve, and I know that's where the preseason game kicks in today. Moss's first NFL action was today. He didn't get anything before this, and Singletary's still pretty young. I don't really know about the offensive line. I don't know how they did, in my opinion. Allen was on the run a lot, but again, I don't know because he wanted to be on the run a lot. So I don't know. He did get sacked, I think, actually 5 times. I'm not sure the exact number, but I'm pretty sure 5 times.
Sacked 3 times.
But you have to expect that.
6 yards.
You have to expect that with the Greg Williams defense.
So, yeah. And also,
and if I didn't know better, sorry, Jake.
No, it's all right.
Greg Williams is the head coach of that team. They barely showed Adam Gase at all.
He will in 2 weeks, probably.
Yeah.
But there was a couple players on the offensive side of the ball who saw their first action in a Bills jersey, and I think we should talk about them. First, Gabriel Davis had a couple decent plays. Nothing too overwhelming, but I definitely like what I saw out of him. Let me pull up his stat line.
I believe his first catch was a first down, so that's really important to get your feet wet there. I thought he looked like a rookie, but not a rookie in his first game. He looked way more like a rookie in his 3rd or 4th game. He looked way more comfortable than I thought he should be as a rookie without any preseason. And I mean, he could have been way more deer in headlights, and he came to play when his number was called.
Yeah, 2 targets, 2 receptions for 16 yards.
I noticed they used him early and often, and he was in the halfback role where Lee Smith would probably be if he wasn't inactive. He was in the halfback role a lot, back in the running back position, and they used that play with McKenzie running around a lot. They were teasing it all game, and then it ended up getting a first down on the 3rd and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So Gabriel Davis will be fine. I noticed that he was out there a lot in the first going. I think they wanted to get him some game time play, and Cole Beasley wasn't. So maybe that's something to keep an eye on down the road.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk more about Zach Moss as well. He had that touchdown, which was a fantastic throw.
Great catch
by Josh Allen.
Everything was great.
But other than that, kind of had a lackluster day. From my point of view, it kind of looked like that he really wasn't running downhill. He ended the day with 9 carries for 11 yards.
Yeah, it's just not good enough.
Averaging 1.2 yards a carry.
If it happens in a couple weeks, I think we should be more concerned. But I want to see Singletary take that role, take the more of the running back role.
I feel like the line on the left side was fantastic today.
Yeah, it's
Dawkins,
going to
Spain,
be.
Morse, nothing changed. We were all wondering. Apparently, the media knew because from the second day of camp, Cody Ford has been lighting up at right guard.
Which I think is the correct decision.
I do, but he was horrible today.
Yeah, maybe taking him off
He was
the
taking
field would
passes.
be better.
He was taking penalties. He was taking away, yards. He was taking away the push at the line. He was getting mauled a little bit. I don't think Darrell Williams got a fair shake, and I'm only going to blame Cody Ford because he stuck out the most with, false starts. Holding. He was bad. He was tough to watch. Not unusual, to be honest. Cody Ford did not have his best game. I want to say that it's probably because he's young still. No preseason. He hasn't had much of time at all at the right guard position. So let's kind of chalk it up to let's see what happens eventually. Well, he doesn't not get the pass that everyone else is getting right now. But let's hopefully see that change. I don't want to get onto the defense yet, but also I think to Zach Moss's point, a lot obviously Edwards-Helaire on Thursday night. He lit it up. That's a great offense to light it up, and I don't think that we could expect the same out of Zach Moss. Jonathan Taylor had a tough week as well. Rookie running backs, they're going to need a little bit more time to start seeing the holes. The speed of the game's way different. Obviously, we saw a little bit of a difference in just the first 2 weeks. Obviously, Singletary kind of lit it up against the Giants, but against the Jets, he was kind of a tough go. I'm interested to see how the run game progresses. I think the passing game was really what needed to happen today. As you said, you kind of needed to see them show off the kind of the Corvette of Allen's new progression. I got what I needed out of that for sure.
And let's talk about Stephon Diggs, the $1 million man. A team high, 8 receptions, 86 yards, no touchdowns. I would love to see a Stephon Diggs touchdown.
We'll wait.
But how do you think he played? I thought he did a good job to get open. Took some big hits.
Took some real big hits.
Which is scary. I don't know.
It happens.
Kind
It's
of
football.
a side topic. The sound, you definitely hear these big hits. I don't know if they're extra big hits or we're just like, is that what it sounds like?
See, I'll give you this because Dave sent something earlier about Greg Williams. Greg Williams' defense is known to fly around, hit you hard. They put their body before they're on the line. So I think that's kind of where I don't think you're going to find another team that's a little bit hard nosed in terms of tackling. So I think that's maybe where Allen took the licks today, but you probably wouldn't see that happen against a team like the Dolphins with some cupcake linebackers out there. So, all things aside, I also wanted to mention I don't hate the Allen runs. I used to. I think it's what the team thrives off of. That Houston game, granted it ended poorly, but in the beginning, it got off because of the Allen run.
It definitely can
The
create
team.
momentum.
Yeah.
I think, and I said this every game, every Sunday night last year, he's going to get hurt, and we're going to suffer from it. I don't think his
That's
job is to
football.
be a quarterback
He's gotta
and
play
to make
football.
plays, but he should make plays with his
So
arm.
it's going to have to be, he needs to, one of two things. He's going to need to take care of the ball. He's going to need to protect himself, or he shouldn't be running. I don't think it's like,
He can't not run. That's the problem.
So then there needs to be a point of emphasis on taking care of the ball.
He's got to take care of the ball.
And taking care of himself. He can't make stupid decisions. Because, we've seen Cam Newton very well run the football. But look where that's got him. He's
Cam
been
Newton's
banged
rarely been
up.
hurt though. He's been hurt because of sacks and bad offensive
he's
line.
humongous. He's not built like
so is
Josh.
Josh Allen.
He's not built
Allen
like Josh
is going
Allen
to
though.
get hurt if he keeps doing it. I really want McDermott to kind of put an end to that.
No, you cannot, or else you waste him. You waste him if you don't do that. That's the bottom line.
He got 300 yards passing today without running the ball.
And the only
can- he
rushing
can
yards we
throw.
got was from him.
14 carries for 57
and that
yards.
should be a bigger concern as opposed to the offensive
I
line.
just
No,
wanna
because you
throw it.
create, and that's how you get it.
I want to throw it 81 times.
They almost did. What do you have?
46.
46.
2 touchdowns though. I like a multi-touchdown.
I had 4. Not gonna lie. Not complaining. You got the win. You won by 3 scores in my mind. Garbage time touchdown brought it down to 2.
If I could touch on the offensive line because I didn't get a chance to, I don't like the Cody Ford at the guard position because in a
don't like
couple
him at
weeks
all.
you're going to get Feliciano back. I would keep Ford at the tackle position to get the reps in and try to figure out who's playing the guard position. I know we got Waters in here. I don't know. I think the guard position is a problem, but Feliciano should be back soon.
Al Waters,
Wet.
Winters. The
Winters.
biggest thing is
Ryan.
that's an interesting point because maybe they do know who the right tackle is, and they're spot checking the right guard until Feliciano comes.
So you're saying Cody Ford might be on a backup role soon?
I hope so. It's either he's guard.
Listen, he didn't
or he's
look
off the
spectacular today. He's the 38th pick in the draft, and he didn't look like it, especially with as much playing time as he's had.
Yeah, he played all of last year.
Now, granted, this isn't going to be a beat-up Cody Ford party. He doesn't get the pass that Josh Allen doesn't get. They all get the same pass.
It was
Well, ultimately,
First
we
game
won
of the year.
ultimately,
First game of the
we
year,
won
no
the game,
preseason.
and we expected to win the game against a beat-up Jets defense.
Yeah,
just
they were in the
expected it
driver's
to
seat
do
all the
it
way.
flawlessly.
yeah.
You can't expect to do it flawlessly,
I
especially
never-
with week one.
Never was in a position where I'm like, oh, I'm getting nervous about this game.
No.
I thought we manhandled the Jets. I mean, they didn't have a first down until maybe midway through the second quarter. It was a Le'Veon Bell run, I think.
Who started to get hot, and then he pulled his hamstring. So
Thank
Same
God.
thing happened with C.J. Moses.
thank you.
last year.
Next,
Yeah.
what about the defense? You want to analyze that, Jake?
Yeah, let's talk about the defense.
Dive right on in.
Couple injuries, scary. Matt Milano, Tremaine Edmonds, Mike Hyde was hurt on two separate
times.
occasions. Overall, I think they played fantastic in the first half. Now, be it some garbage time touchdowns, that's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But the defensive backs played fantastic. Yeah, I think I saw Trey Wade on the field in the camera rather once.
once
Taron Johnson
on
was
a pass deflection, nonetheless.
Yes, Taron Johnson played fantastically, I thought. I mean, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, they play fantastic as well.
Poyer forced that fumble.
Did force that fumble. And then, what do you guys think of Levi Wallace? I think it might have been the same thing with Trey Wade. Didn't
Well,
really
with
see
that
much
big
of him.
touchdown that Crowder got, I think the announcers and I couldn't hear much because the dog in the room was going crazy. But Crowder got that touchdown because Edmonds missed a tackle. Mm-hmm. So I don't blame Levi Wallace for that, even though Levi Wallace was the guy in coverage.
That was a piss poor missed tackle.
Yeah. So
That was
And it
tough.
was a wide receiver screen. Coverage goes out the window on that.
I
Yeah.
think Wallace and White I think they played shutdown to like they were expected to.
Trent Murphy played very well.
Trent Murphy with the sack.
I will never talk bad about you. Should know.
Yeah, you two. Hey,
I-
don't drag me into it.
I'm not sure I was
Whoa.
overtly willing to get rid of Trent Murphy.
I liked Murphy. I was.
Earlier in the offseason, you wanted
He
to
was
get
your
rid of him.
surprise cut like 3 episodes
Yeah. Oh.
ago.
Well, we should talk about Epidenza not being active today. You surprised by that?
Epinesa.
Yeah, you need to. How do you say it?
Epinesa.
We would like to apologize for our past mistakes and probably our future mistakes on mispronouncing Mr.
People really upset about
Epinesa's name. Yeah, we get a comment every time we say it wrong, which is fine.
I just call him AJ.
Yeah, AJ.
He was inactive. He was a project.
Yeah,
No sweat off my back.
I guess it's a
honestly.
good thing that we don't need our first draft pick to make an immediate contribution. I guess that we're in a good spot if that's the case.
It kind of shows the depth we have at that position too.
Yeah, and I thought the
Trent Murphy had a
defensive
great game.
line. Yeah, so did Jerry Hughes. Jerry Hughes was
Jerry
creative.
Hughes,
Hughes looked
Mario
young.
Addison looked awesome.
Pressure.
Jerry Hughes is young again.
Well, I also mentioned this on Twitter. Becton, Mekhi Becton, I believe his name is. He was going to get his lunch handed to him by Jerry Hughes, no matter how that game panned out.
Someone had me lunch. So if I could touch on the injuries real quick.
You had lunch with Jerry Hughes?
No, he never showed up.
Yo, we should call Make a Wish. Get your money back.
Why didn't he
No
come?
Make-A-Wish jokes. We had some bad for that.
What?
Edmonds, I don't think is seriously hurt. I do think Milano's a concern, but you know what? I was thinking, and I was talking to some people. Lorenzo Alexander, what do you guys think of him coming back potentially?
I
He
think
said in an interview the other day he would be interested if we're desperate.
so. I just Googled it. I Googled Buffalo Bills injuries. Buffalo News: Lorenzo Alexander willing to listen if Bills call after linebacker injuries.
That
So-
would be exciting.
I think it'd be not good.
It would just be replacing it'd be putting a Band-Aid over like a wound.
I don't disagree that I know he's a very good player. Has not conditioned in any capacity. Has not worked out
You don't know that.
in a football
He's
fashion.
not a coverage linebacker, and Milano's a coverage linebacker. I'm assuming Milano's going to be out longer than Edmonds. Edmonds is a shoulder. I imagine it's a stinger, and the game was in hand, so you don't need to force it. But Milano's a coverage linebacker. You're not going to replace a coverage linebacker with a blitzing linebacker.
And Dodson was hurt too.
He'll be fine.
We lost 4 linebackers to injury.
Worst case scenario, you add Vosan and Joseph to the line.
And you could bring up Andre Smith, who you traded for.
I think Dodson did great.
Delshon Phillips got hurt too.
Yeah, that's okay.
Still,
Terrell Dodson did great when he went in.
definitely.
I can't
He had a
complain.
sack.
Yeah, and someone asked me at our watch party today, that was a great time, great food,
Wonderful
great
thing.
company.
Great chicken wings. Thanks, Zach.
I,
Old Bay on top.
I perfected smoking this summer. But I will, as you can tell,
Meats, that is.
yeah. But I will say that I think I lost my train of thought because the wings.
They were so good.
What was I saying?
Talking about Dotson.
Oh, the Miami Dolphins next week. Jordan Howard, he had 8 carries for 7 yards and a touchdown.
And Fitz had 3
He
picks.
was not good today against a defense that I can only assume that is worse than they were last year.
But Byron Jones on the defense.
Exactly. And hold on, one more gripe with national media. If I have to hear that Cam Newton's back one more time after 157 passing yards and 48 rushing yards,
Yeah.
why is he back? They played a bad Dolphins team. The Dolphins are bad. The Dolphins are bad. The Dolphins are bad.
Although I agree, Dolphins have one hell of a pass rush, which we'll talk about Wednesday.
Yeah, but I'm not nervous about it.
No, yeah, especially with the way Josh Allen was dodging defenders.
Josh Allen
he looked great.
Elusive.
Yeah, he looked
shook
great.
off at least 4 or 5 sacks.
Yes, 100%. On the right side, especially.
Yeah, his reads down the field. I mean, we were talking about it.
How
He
many
went
reads did
through
he go for the
4 or
touchdown?
5
Yeah.
reads. It was fantastic.
His Zach Moss touchdown, that was his 6th read. Behind running even. So after he decided that maybe running was an option, he then pulled it back out and threw it to Zach Moss. Great throw, great play. That was the progression that we were looking for from Josh Allen. But back to the defense. Trey White, his only play was a pass deflection. I think the quarterbacks are playing on half the field this year with him on the out there.
Definitely. Dude, we should probably touch on Tyler Bass too. That
That
tough.
first kick was good. And I said it. Before even the announcer said it, I said, that was good.
And then someone was like, or no, you said that's close.
Yeah,
and then
so
you're
it
like,
shouldn't be.
I also said it was good, and I was shocked that they came back from commercial, and they somewhat agreed with us.
Even Gene Steratore.
Yeah.
Never mind. But I have no.
That was good.
You're going to see people
That was
say they
good.
want Hauschka back. Obviously, you're going to see. I want Hauschka back. You're going to see people that say that.
Go, keep going.
What's wrong?
You're touching stuff.
That was
Someone's
me.
touching
That
stuff.
was me.
But Bass, listen, it's the preseason thing. He didn't get any preseason kicks against opposing teams. It's not a big deal. He'll be fine.
I think otherwise, if it wasn't for the situation and he did that week 1, you would see Hauschka in here. You won't see Hauschka in here because it's preseason, no preseason. The first kick was good for Christ's sake, and then he got even closer. And then it was in his head that he couldn't make it. The second one was a mental mistake because of the first one being, we got screwed over there. It was awful. Andre Roberts played fantastic today.
He took some big hits, too.
He won them back. See, those hits happen. It's just covered up by crowd noise.
Yeah,
So-
imagine wanting to cut him.
Exactly, right?
So what did you guys think of the no crowd?
It's weird because I was reading tweets from Marcel. He said, I don't hear anything in the press box. I mean, we heard it on the TV, but for a couple times I was like, this is really loud. This is too
It was
loud.
louder than it should have been. 100%.
I didn't. It
was
took at
weird.
first I hated it. I thought that I would fall in the same category of NBA is not interesting right now. NHL is not interesting right now. So I thought it was going to fall in the same category. It just takes away the allure of having the fans there. Ended up getting used to it. I don't understand why you watch a Bills game and you can barely hear the crowd, but then you turn on the Cowboys Rams game tonight or the Saints and Bucks game and the crowd's crazy. So I don't know what they're piping in
Maybe a
there.
CBS Fox
I think
thing.
it's because of the Dome Stadium.
But I thought it was loud as hell during the Bills game sometimes. I was like, Jesus, this is loud as hell.
Makes a good joke, like when the Jets scored the 69-yard touchdown. I was like, dude, stop cheering.
Well, my favorite one was, the fake fans liked that.
Makes some shitty dad jokes. But
Yeah, it was probably something the Bills fans are going to have to get used to this year.
yeah, it's. I don't think we're gonna have fans in the stands.
I mean, I don't
at all
need to
this
think.
year.
I got some.
Some sources.
Yeah, but
Sources.
it is what it is on that one.
It is what it is.
Well, maybe playoff time will come and maybe they'll change their mind.
Well, probably not.
1-0. Did you guys
1-0.
think you'd be 1-0 today?
Yes.
100%. Now,
You were about to quit if they weren't.
exactly. That's how sure I was. Now, do we go to 2-0? We'll find out Wednesday, guys. Well, you'll find out Thursday.
Oh, diamond in the rough. Hold on.
You got something for this?
No, but kinda.
We don't rehearse.
Diamond in the rough, presented by Diamond Dave. Who is it, buddy?
He had 5 last year. It's John Brown. John Brown got it once again.
My favorite player.
Awesome receiver today.
gonna be
Diggs
cut.
would have got it. John Brown had a great touchdown, almost 2. I thought the best defender was Mario Addison, we didn't even touch on. I think he was just a beast. He was always down Sam Darnold's throat, and
Good.
bad choice of words. But
I want you to touch
John Brown,
that. Dang,
diamond in the rough.
Getting the back of my
Congratulations,
throat.
John Brown. You get nothing.
Imagine. Close your eyes. 2 preseasons ago, you're Diamond Dave, and you're sitting in a chair, speaking into a
This
microphone,
chair. Actually, this
saying,
chair.
"Hey, I think John Brown's going to get cut." And then you give him 6 diamond in the roughs. That is progress, guys. That is growth. That is maturity. That is understanding you were wrong and then fixing it.
That's just a tough look. Tough look.
That he's going through progressions just like Josh Allen right now. The diamond in the rough segment.
I'm not going through progression. I'm a full man.
He's a full ass man.
Listen, this is as
And
big
that-
as it gets.
and that's the show,
Diamond
folks.
Dave as
I
it
would
gets.
even argue that Allen looks at him as the number 1 receiver. He was his go-to all game.
Diamond Dave's a full ass man.
Jake, take us home.
Bye, guys.